Hi VC, Dale Gatefold 33 back with another video, and this is going to be a sort of response video or celebration video for Rob Walker. So Rob put out a video a few days ago celebrating having made 200 videos in the 6 or so years that he's been making videos in the VC, and he showed 30 12-inch singles as part of that, and his were Manchester themed. So I thought I would respond with 30 12-inch singles, or there's a few EPs in here as well. Yeah, because I've been so obviously congratulations Rob, and well done. But yeah, I've been getting more into singles in the last 2 or 3 years. Really enjoyed spinning singles, which has obviously wreaked havoc with my LP listening, but I'm enjoying it, so I'm keeping on with it. And yeah, 12-inch singles, I think I said last year, was it last year or the year before, that that was the year of the 12-inch, and I was going to hunt out 12 inches, and I had a lot of success last year with finding some really good 12-inch singles, and that sort of continued a little bit into this year. So I've kind of picked 30 12-inch singles here, but I am aware that I've shown some new acquisitions quite a lot recently, and I did do a video 2 or 3 years ago where I showed my 50 favorite 12-inch singles, or 50 favorite 12-inch singles by 50 different artists. But that was out of a very small pool then of about, I don't know, I had less than 100 12-inch singles then. I've now got a little over 200 12-inch singles. So bigger pool, but some of this stuff you would have seen before, but I tried to pick new stuff. It's not themed, it isn't Manchester or Winchester based. I don't think you'd get 30 12-inch singles out of Winchester. But I've kind of started with the sort of pop cheese that I would have been listening to in my teenage years. I've said before, all but 1 month of my teenage years were spent in the 1980s. So that is what has shaped, if you like, my music. And I wasn't a cool kid. I've said that before as well. I wasn't an indie kid listening to John Peel. Unfortunately, I was a fairly boring kid listening to or watching Top of the Pops and the Chart Show, and more likely to be reading smash hits than I was The Enemy. So that's kind of shaped my listening to a certain extent in the 80s. It's only more recently that I've gone back and discovered some of the more kind of obscure or interesting music of the 80s. However, I still stand by, I have got a lot of fondness for the 80s, and I actually, the last few years I've got much more back into the 80s music, and I think, it's a much maligned decade, but I think, it was the decade of synth music, and there's a lot to discover there. However, not necessarily going to be that what I showed today. Some of this is going to be some cheese, but I stand behind the cheese. That's a strange saying. I'll start, however, with one that Rob showed, because I think this is probably the definitive 80s synth 12-inch single, and Rob showed a later version, so I just thought I would show an original version. This is from, it's very difficult. There's so many pressings of this, but I think this is certainly one of the earliest pressings. However, this wasn't the pressing that I had in 1983. I had the one that Rob showed, because, as I said, I was late to the party, so I discovered Blue Monday when it eventually came onto Top of the Pops, and did buy a 12-inch single of this in 1983, but it was the later non-die cut version that I had. But this is one I've subsequently found. Another 12-inch that I did have at the time, 1984, and Frankie Goes to Hollywood, Two Tribes. I think this is the one that really sort of landed with me more than Relax. Relax was obviously an interesting and attention-grabbing song, but I think I played this Two Tribes 12-inch a lot at the time, and played this more than any of the other Frankie Goes to Hollywood stuff. Okay, this one may be slightly embarrassing, but this was definitely played a lot at the time. Maybe I was a little bit of a maudlin, I don't know what, teenager, but yeah, I like to listen to True by Spandau Ballet. So this, this and 2 or 3 of their earlier singles are probably all I would listen to now, but I stand behind True by Spandau Ballet. Again, another slightly cheesy song, but it really kind of hit me at the time with the production, and I had this 12-inch single certainly at the time, and that is Murray Head's One Night in Bangkok, from the sort of chess musical. Yeah, this kind of the sort of production, and this probably links to, you know, I'd certainly liked cinematic. My first records were the 50 music TV hits, or 50 great movie hits, the Jeff Love Orchestra. They were the first records I ever had as a sort of young child, and so anything that had a little bit of a dramatic, cinematic sound certainly piqued my interest even back then. And so, and that's certainly stuff that I'm now discovering and following to this day. So it certainly must be something that runs through my listening enjoyment. But yeah, Murray Head, One Night in Bangkok. And a similar thing that really kind of grabbed me back in the day was Malcolm McLaren's Madame Butterfly. Again, that kind of cinematic mix of spoken word and music and orchestra and even opera in this case. Yeah, just kind of interested me even as a young teenager, and say I kind of gravitate towards that kind of stuff now. Sort of similar, but not so much. So this is my favourite song by Yazoo. Yazoo was, but I think the Upstairs at Eric's albums, again, has got that kind of slightly weird bits of spoken word, bits of tape, kind of wonkiness and synth wonkiness in it, as well as some pop bangers. And so Don't Go is my favourite Yazoo single. This is a remixes. Remixes are okay. Not, I think the 7-inch version is the kind of definitive version of this song, but nice to have that. Thought I'd show some Style Council, some Paul Weller connection. So this is an EP, but not a single. But yeah, I was a little bit too young to be into the Jam from the outset. So some of their singles certainly grabbed me when I heard them on Top of the Pops, but wasn't, say, a little bit too young to be in at the beginning there. But I did like the Style Council from the beginning, and again, a little bit cheesy, but Long Hot Summer, which is on this, with its ridiculous video, certainly kind of piqued my interest. And again, it's that storytelling. Even though I'm a sound person, not a words person, it creates visions in your mind. So yeah, that's another good one. Okay, this is a more recent discovery. So unfortunately, I didn't discover the Blue Nile in the 80s. I discovered the Blue Nile a lot later, but I'm trying to go back now and collect their 80s, the 12 inches around the time of their first 2 albums, because that they're my favourite 2 albums by the Blue Nile, that period. And so to get more music, I thought I'd try and find the 12 inches because they'll have B-sides that might be new music. I've only found 1 to date. This was from a car boot sale, but yeah, Headlights on the Parade, great song by the Blue Nile. I've done the odd kind of deep dive type video and I did one on Sophistipop. So again, the 80s was the pinnacle of Sophistipop, and a good exponent of that at the time was Altered Images, and their third album, was it Bite, is a great Sophistipop album, and my favourite song on that is Don't Talk to Me About Love, and so great to have the 12-inch version of that with some interesting artwork. Probably would have preferred a nice big picture of Claire Grogan at the time, but interesting artwork nonetheless. Slight change of gear. The beat, I like the beat in the specials. Madness, again, they kind of grabbed your attention in the 80s. So this from 1980 is a nice double A-side, 12-inch single, so Twist and Crawl and Hands Off She's Mine on a 12. What's not to like about that? A bit more synth pop, fantastic artwork. So yeah, certainly I love Iran and Wishing, the two singles by A Flock of Seagulls that I really kind of was into at the time. So again, nice to have a 12-inch version of Iran by A Flock of Seagulls. Similar striking artwork and a fantastic extended version, a brilliant kind of sort of example of the sort of 80s extended mixes. They don't all work, I'll be honest. Some 80s extended mixes don't work, but I think Visage Fade to Grey is one that does. So again, great artwork, great song. Okay, a nod to Manchester. I showed New Order at the beginning, but before that, Joy Division and their probably biggest hit, if they had a hit at the time, but certainly since, Love Will Tear Us Apart. So on Factory Records. So yeah, just thought I'd show you that. A cover version, I think is a cover version, or it's written for the artist, but another fantastic song that kind of really creates a vision in your mind. Robert Wyatt's Shipbuilding. You can visualize the kind of struggles and torment around the shipbuilding industry through this song, particularly when it's sung by Robert Wyatt. So absolutely love that. Recent acquisition, but thought I would show it. Kraftwerk's Neon Lights. This is another one of those that I got from the guy. I've been digging through all of his 7-inch and 12-inch singles, so I picked this one up recently when I went back to the well. Back to the well for the third time. I might go back for a fourth time, but I've got so many singles coming up my ears at the moment that I may not. Yeah, Kraftwerk Neon Lights with Trans-Europe Express on the model on the back, and this is on luminous vinyl. Apparently, I haven't checked it. This one I showed a while ago, a few years ago, when I got a big David Bowie auction haul with another guy, but yes, it's quite interesting. So this is Heroes, but it's Heroes Helden on one side and Heroes. So it's got English and German version on one side and English and French version on the other side. So a sort of double side 12-inch alternative versions. Disco Remix it's called as well. I'm not sure about that so much. So my favourite song by Billy Bragg isn't Levi Stubbs' Tears. My favourite song by Billy Bragg is on this, but Levi Stubbs' Tears is a fantastic, again, kitchen sink drama type, song that draws you in, and is possibly my second favourite song by Billy Bragg. But the B-side, Walk Away, Renee version, to me, I listen to that over and over again, still listen to that over and over again. It's just, again, it's just mesmerizing to me. It's short, slightly more spoken than sung, song that again just kind of takes you into another place. My favourite female artist of all time, so I shouldn't leave her out. So yeah, Kate Bush. Running up that hill. I've got pretty much all of Kate Bush 12-inch singles that she released. Yeah, this one has got obviously a stunning picture of Kate from '85. But yeah, Kate Bush needed to be shown. And then sort of finally from this section is another favourite artist of mine, XTC, and possibly my favourite song or single by them, The Mayor of Simpleton, although there are several other contenders. But yeah, I love this song. Yeah, good to have it on a 12. So I'm now going to move on to maybe something a little bit more different. I think I've got 11 records there that are slightly more different. Yeah, just for a bit of variety. So, because a lot of those I've just shown there are very common and well-known songs. This is maybe a little bit different. I'll start with this one, which is one actually I've had for over a year, but I haven't got around to playing properly. I've kind of just tested it a bit, but I still need to even though it's only a 12-inch single, I haven't got around to playing it. But it's quite an interesting package, if you like. So this is the Nightingales. So the Nightingales are a Birmingham indie band that have kind of been, lauded but never had any success. And there was a film made about them a couple of years ago called King Rocker, put together by Stuart Lee, the comedian, who's been a kind of fan and supporter of the band for many years, but they've never had success. They've always been on the verge of crumbling or breaking up, but continue on. The lead singer has just carried on regardless to make music that he wants to make. And so, yeah, very interesting film. Stuart Lee, fantastic, my favourite stand-up comedian. Stuart Lee, absolutely brilliant. Seen him live. But yeah, Nightingales. This is an interesting package. It's called, what is it? How to Age Heroin, The Crunch. It's a cracker. It's a limited edition of 800, and comes in this envelope with the single itself, or 4 tracks, and sort of through Cherry Red, but also has a whole host of stuff, including another bonus 7-inch single and a flexi disc, some zine stuff, a booklet, and a postcard. So yeah, interesting package. Got that from a car boot as well. Enjoyed that film about the Nightingales. So it was good to find something by the Nightingales to put into the collection. Okay, this next one is terrible cover art. Definitely doesn't evoke what I would expect from the artist. So this is Robin Hitchcock and the Egyptians. So You Think You're in Love. So it's a jangly indie single, really good. But as I said, yeah, the cover art isn't what I would expect from a Robin Hitchcock type cover art. I expect something a bit much more sort of ethereal and interesting. But yes, so not sure what the decision making was there. Another kind of find when I've been digging for singles is this early 1979 Human League EP, I suppose it is, 12-inch EP. It's four kind of instrumental, very crude, industrial, early, sparse, I guess, like Eastern European theme on the Fast Product label, although it has got a Virgin link to it as well. So before they went to Virgin, early Human League, said very, very sparse synth instrumental tunes, but yeah, really, really interesting for someone like me who's kind of, say, really exploring that synth pop, 80s synth pop sound, and modern synth sound as well. Now, I need to get a move on. I'm taking forever as normal. This next one up is something that was soundtracked many of my family's summers to France. Was often I put on mixed CDs for the car, and this is Terry Callier 12-inch single Love Theme from Spartacus, and the 07 remix of this song was on a kind of Ibiza chill out CD set that I picked a track from, one of the sort of the tracks that I'd put into CD mixes for the car. So it was great to find this on vinyl, probably about 10 years ago. And I've also picked up the album Timepiece, I think it's called, when it came out on vinyl last year or the year before. Brilliant, and it's got the album version of this is also fantastic, but this one evokes memories of family holidays in France in the car. Okay, this one is a bit of a quirky cover. I did show this several years ago. So this is a reggae 12-inch by Derek Lairo and the Trinity, and it is Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. So the Michael Jackson song Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, done in a reggae style, and then on the back, and even then keep going. So another version on the flip side. So that's quite an interesting cover. Now coming again, sort of another Manchester record here. So one of my favourite jazz musicians, certainly my favourite jazz musician, contemporary jazz musician, Matthew Halsall, Manchester trumpeter, and also kind of leader of the Gondwana label and Gondwana orchestra. And this is a 12-inch single with a couple of jazz standards. So Journey in Satchidananda and Blue Nile, both absolutely beautiful versions of those jazz tunes. Okay, another one slightly obscure, found this a few years ago, no idea what it was. So this is Marie et les Garçons. There is Marie and there are les Garçons. Maria was the drummer in the band, not the vocalist, as you might have thought, typically, as she's got the name Marie and the boys. But yeah, Marie and the boys, quite an indie punky 12-inch single, interesting. So yeah, enjoyed finding that quite an interesting, say indie punky, I'm not sure when it's from, 1978, post-punky song. Again, another slightly obscure, well, very obscure, this is very rare. So this is Look Blue, Go Purple, which I think is a fantastic name for a band. Certainly fantastic name for a all-female band, but this is, and they're, so excuse me, single or EP, Bewitched, but this is on the Flying Nun label, the famous Flying Nun label from New Zealand, found in a, from a New Zealander in a field in Hampshire, but yeah, quite rare even in New Zealand to find this, but yeah, and fantastic cover art on this. So that is that. This one is a recent find, and this is just bonkers. It's just, I don't know, I haven't got my head around what this music is. It's quite challenging, arty, indie so far, but I do need to revisit again. So this is, I think, a German artist. I'm going to butcher this. Einstürzender and Einstürzender Neubauten, I think. Apologies for the pronunciation. Malediction. This is a 33 RPM, but 4-tracker. I think it's a 4-tracker, or maybe a 6-tracker. Yeah, slightly bonkers. I'm not sure I can describe it, but it kind of got me interested. So I'm gonna give it some time. Okay, this next one, I don't know, slightly obscure in terms of what it is, I suppose. Faris Badwan, who is the lead singer of the band The Horrors, which I'm quite like The Horrors, I've got a few of their albums. He did I should have done some research on this. He did a collaboration with a guitarist called something Coxon, not Blur, and put this out, and I got it in my feed on my phone, in my emails, and I was intrigued because I went and looked at it. The single's pretty good, kind of what you'd expect from a Horrors type, fairly sort of indie rock. But you could buy the single, or for a bit extra, I can't remember if it was £5 or £10, you could buy the single with exclusive Sharpie art by Faris Badwan on the cover. So the single was a very plain red sleeve with white dot on it. So it would have been just all red with a white dot, but I paid extra for this exclusive and unique Faris Badwan Sharpie art. And just to check, I bought 2 copies, and so each one has got different unique Faris Badwan Sharpie art. I obviously needed a break when he did this one compared to this one, but yeah, so yeah, 2 completely unique records there. And then finally I'm going to finish with a very recent and an artist again that I've championed and I'm glad is getting quite a bit of love in the vinyl community, and that is Warrington Runcorn Newtown Development Plan, and this is a 12-inch that came out I think last year. A shared sense of purpose, and it had the original album version, but also had a Vince Clarke remix and a 1973 version, on pink vinyl. So yeah, love everything that Gordon Chapman Fox, who is Warrington Runcorn Newtown Development Plan, does. Okay, nearly 30 minutes. I may re-record this and do it in 26 minutes instead. Okay, cheers VC. Congratulations again, Rob. Cheers, bye.